Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you to this highly anticipated webinar on the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. We have with us Mr. Milind Bire, our Executive Committee member and Chapter Chair, West and Central Region, who will be taking us through the opportunities, the challenges, key considerations, and the latest update related to the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. We are very confident that this session today will be both insightful and informative for all participants. I would now like to invite Mr. Milind Bhere to take over the session. Over to you, Milind, sir.
Thank you, Sonam, and namaste to everyone. Because it's a Kailash trip, so we normally greet everyone in our authentic Indian way, saying namaste to everyone. I will be kind of orienting on this Kailash trip yatra, keeping in mind that I'm talking to operators, or people who are kind of tour operators who would like to do this trip for their clients in future. And this is not going to be a product sale or a product briefing as such. It's more to talk about the details involved in how one can operate this yatra as such. However, to begin with, I'm sure that many people are aware of that Kailash and Manasarovar is one of the most looked kind of for most spiritual journey for many. It has been a spiritual journey, or it's stands a great importance in Hindu religion, for Buddhist, and also for Jains. For all these three major religions in the world, kind of aspire, most of the people would aspire to go there once in their lifetime. Keeping that in mind, there is many people who aspire to go there, and they are looking forward to be there and have darshan of Kailash and probably take a dip, which is not allowed anymore, but take a holy bath with the waters of Manasarovar. Yeah. So initially, I'm going to just orient people, keeping in mind that probably people are not exactly aware as where is what. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to just do an orientation of various routes that can be taken to Kailash. Obviously via Nepal, because the routes and the yatras that go from the Indian government side are completely managed and done by the Indian government. There is no role for a private operator to play. And the private operators can kind of do these yatras only by Nepal, because Nepal and China borders are open for tourism. And that's how you can actually take yatris from Nepal. Yeah. So there are multiple routes, but before that, let's kind of have a quick understanding of where this whole thing is. I have put up simple Google map for people's understanding, and I hope you can see my cursor. So this is the capital city of Nepal, Kathmandu. And then this is where Lhasa is. And then Manasarovar, if you look at it, it is right further west. This is Manasarovar, and the other lake which is adjoining is Rakshastal. And north of Manasarovar stands Mount Kailash. Yeah. And just for the reference point, you can look at some other places also. Keeping Kathmandu here, sorry. Wow, give me a second. Can everybody see the screen? Sonam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Nepalganj is here. You have Simikot here, Hilsa here, Purang here, and then you have Timure, Kerung, and Saga here. So I'm just kind of trying to identify these places on a kind of one map, so that people will get an idea of how things are done. Okay. So first, let's understand the first route, which is done by many, where people can arrive in Kathmandu, or they can travel from Lucknow in India. They can cross the road border and go to this Nepalganj. And from Nepalganj, typically people can fly into Simikot in a fixed wing small aircraft. And then from there, people can take a heli sortie or chopper sortie to Hilsa, and at Hilsa you cross the border into Tibet or China, and then travel to Purang, and then from Purang, typically people stay in Purang for 2 days for acclimatization, and then they will go to Manasarovar and then to Darchin, then to the Parikrama, and come back by the same route. So typically this kind of a route takes around 10 to 11 days. However, I personally do not prefer this route and don't operate any trips on this route, only for the reason because of the these flights and especially the chopper between Simikut and Hilsa are heavily weather dependent. And as you are aware, most of the trips they happen in the month of June, July, August, September, which is a proper monsoon time. So the itineraries can go for a toss, I would say, in case of the weather being bad. Yeah. So that's the reason I don't prefer. But yes, many yatris or many operators do kind of do this kind of a routing because it saves time. Number one, it saves all the road journey, long travel journey on the road. So this is one route that is there, which is typically called as the chopper route or the heli route, you can say. Yeah. The other more popular where maximum people would kind of use this route is the road journey all the way to Mansarovar from Kathmandu, and you kind of come back to Kathmandu the same way. Yeah. So typically you kind of spend time in Kathmandu. From Kathmandu, you go to Timure, which is a border kind of village. You need to stay in Timure for a day. And typically on the next day in the morning, you will do the border formalities. You will cross into China and then do a short drive to Kerum, where you will stay in Kerum for one night, and then you will go to Saga. Typically, Saga is at 43 to 4,400 meters. So most of the groups, they will take a 2-day halt in Saga for acclimatization before heading to Manas. And then the same thing, Darchin, Kailash, Parikrama, and then again coming back the same route down to Kathmandu. So typically this trip will be for 13 days to 14 days. We usually make it as a 14-day trip. We keep one day as a buffer for any delays due to roadblocks, weather conditions, or any other reason. Yeah. So this is one way to do the trip. The other trip, the way people do it is they go to Kathmandu. From Kathmandu, they will take a flight to Lhasa. Yeah. Then spend 2 days in Lhasa. Lhasa is at a height of 3,650 meters. Yeah. So somewhat little higher than Leh Ladakh, you can say. Then from Lhasa, we go to Shigatse, which is at 3,900 meters. And from Shigatse, you come down to Saga, the same point which is there on the road journey from Kathmandu. And then you go through Manas, you do the Darchin, you do the Mount Kailash Parikrama. And on the return, people can come back to Saga and then drive out to Kathmandu, or they can continue to Lhasa and fly back to Kathmandu. As far as Lhasa airport is concerned, it is only only international flight that it has is from Kathmandu. It is not connected to any other airport outside China, and all the other flights coming to Lhasa are from mainland China. So they're coming from Beijing, Chengdu, Kunming, Xi'an, and various places. Yeah. So this is the third route. Yeah. Now coming to the Parikrama part, the physical and most challenging part of this trip is going to be the Parikrama, and especially for the people who do the Parikrama by doing a complete walk. Yeah. So I will just again orient a bit on the map because just the names would not make any sense. It's all Greek and Latin otherwise. Yeah. So here is a quick map. So if you consider Kailash right here in the center, Darchin is a town which is exactly south, which is around 60 to 70 kilometers from Manasarovar. Yeah. So we usually kind of stay in Darchin for a night. We get ready for the Parikrama. From Darchin, the place here you can see Tarboche. Tarboche is where the famous Saga Rava festival happens. And this is the place where also Yamadwar is there. Many people must have heard about we start the parikrama from Yamadwar. So the Yamadwar is right here. Yeah. And from Yamadwar, we start actually the trek, because from Darchi to Yamadwar, which is a distance of around 5 to 7 kilometers, you get a drop in the vehicle, in a bus. And from there, you kind of walk all the way to Derafug, which is exactly north of Mount Kailash. And typically, this walk is around, say, 12 to 13 kilometers, and average time taken by walkers, depending upon their pace and everything, but average time taken in my experience has been around 5 to 6 hours, with a small break of half an hour in between for a pack lunch. Yeah. The second day is the toughest day of the parikrama, where you kind of start early from Derafug at around 6 o'clock in the morning. You go to Dolmala Pass, which is at 5,650 meters. And from Dolmala Pass, you come down back to the river. This Can I request people to go on mute, or if they want to make any suggestion to me, they can do it. Yeah. So from Derafug to Dolman. Hello.
Milind sir, please go ahead. I've just put him on mute. Sir, you're on mute. Milind sir, you're on mute.
Okay. So from Derafug to Dolmala Pass, usually people will take anywhere between, again, there is a...
I see Mr. Milind Chitle. I've been trying to put him on mute. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. From Derafug to Dolmala Pass, typically people would take walking, or walkers would take anywhere between 5 to 6 hours. Again, it's very subjective, so I'm talking about average with my experience. Then from Dolmala Pass, we will get down to the river, which will take around 2.5 hours. And from there, this place to Jutulfuk is a long, flat walk, or more or less flat, broad walk in an open valley, which would take another 2.5 hours to reach Zulfuk. Yeah. So this is a very long day. If we look at the complete walking hours, it will be anywhere ranging from around 10 to 11 hours of walking till the time you come down to the Zulfuk. And from the next day, people would come from Zulfuk, where they will start in the morning. And typically, you walk for around 6 to 7 kilometers, which would take around 2 hours. And there's a pickup point from where you're again picked up by the buses, and you will be driven back to Darchin. So this is a quick description about the parikrama. As I said, I'm kind of keeping my focus on operations and things like that, so I'm not getting into the details of it. But however, there are a couple of things that come to my mind. One is you need to be very clear that the arrangements of the stay at Derafuk and Jutulfuk, these both the places, the stay is extremely basic. It is on multi-sharing dormitory style, and toilets are not there. So one has to kind of make it very clear to their guests, clients, saying that toilet facility is not there. Yeah. And one more point I would like to kind of say is from Dolmala Pass down on the other side to the river, people who are using horses or ponies, they need to necessarily walk. They can't be riding horse or the ponies from Dolmala Pass down to the river. Yeah, so everyone has to be, though there is pony available and things like that, everyone has to be really ready to do that 2.5 hours walk downhill down to the bottom of the valley. Yeah. So this is as far as the various routes and parikrama part is concerned. One second. For some reason, I'm not able to. My screen is locked. I will stop sharing and share it again, and let me see. Yeah.
We can see the screen now, sir.
Yeah, I am not able to move it from my cursor, so I'm surprised why it is so. Yeah. Give me a second because I don't want to miss out on that. 1 second. Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Yeah. So I was on the parikrama part. Now I will come to some more important details which we need to understand as operators to operate this trip. So there is a kind of fairly good amount of documentation and the timing that one needs to kind of do. Uh, Obviously, you need to have a valid passport for 6 months after your trip is getting over. So, so you need to kind of ensure that everybody's passport that is there is valid for 6 months post the trip is going to get over. Yeah. The other two documents that are going to be essential is we need to kind of procure a Tibet travel permit. Now, for applying for the Tibet travel permit, one needs to kind of give a copy of the passport, and then they need to typically your Nepal counterpart will apply for the permit in Lhasa, which is has to be processed. And now with the kind of delays that are happening and everything, I would kind of propose that we need to apply for the permits almost 60 days prior to the trip, anywhere between, you can say, 6 to 8 weeks minimum. Uh, as early as you can apply, the better it is, because then once you get the permit, which will typically, this time it has been coming anytime between 3 to 4 weeks in advance. At least this is the experience so far with me of the first group that we are leading this year. And then after that, we need to apply for the China group visa. Now, China group visa is processed in by VFS in Delhi, and it's only in Delhi. So people in Mumbai or any other centers can't really apply for it. Everything has to be coordinated in Delhi. Yeah. So once the process is like this, once you before you get the permit, you need to kind of fill in a lot of application form on the Chinese website, visa application website, where you need to put in a lot of details on an individual level. And once you do that, there is and you keep them. It is stored in on their site. Once you get the permit, you need to kind of upload the permit copy on each and everybody's individual form. Along with that, later on, the payment has to be done, and a copy of payment has to be also uploaded on everybody's form. After that is done, we need to make a final submission online. And once the submission is done, we have to wait for them to issue us a verification code. And once you get the verification code, only then one can apply for the visa along with the passports and other documents, which of course your agency or any agent that you look at will be able to help you with into the VFS as a group paper visa. So it comes as a group paper visa. Your passport is not stamped. Yeah. And usually it takes around 4 to 5 working days to get your passports back with the paper group visa. So for to follow up with all this process, you need to kind of keep enough time on hand. First, do apply for the permits on time. Only then you can apply for fill up the forms on time. So that as soon as you receive the permit, you can make the submission and expect to receive the verification code in time for you to apply the visa in time for you to kind of continue with the trip as per the schedule. Yeah. So it's a very complicated process. and at times there are delays even in this process, undoubtedly. But that's the reason it is only best to work in advance. Yeah. I'm not really going to deal with NRIs or foreign national right now on this call. The only reason is it will just kind of complicate the matters. That's the reason I'm keeping how do you kind of do this trip for NRIs or foreign national out of today's conversation. If anybody has any questions, I am happy to answer them on one-to-one basis. But it is better because it's quite different. The process is very different for foreign nationals and NRIs. Yeah. So this is as far as the documentation goes and the process goes. Yeah. Now, I've quickly tried to kind of put in here what are the challenges vis-a-vis the preparations. Few challenges I've already kind of probably talked into my conversation so far. But what I will do is I will still run through the list that I've made. So one is to getting the permits and visa on time. The only kind of thing that we can do is we apply well in advance. As I said, 2 months is the time that you need to kind of look at. Similarly, it is important to kind of apply for your staff permit. These all trips are supported by a staff from Nepal, which is usually a very hardworking and very good staff, which will support your food and other arrangements for the yatra. So that is supported by the Nepal staff, so that those permits are also to be applied in time and their visa process and everything goes the same. And that's the reason both have to be coordinated well so that both the group can be accompanied by the staff. Where it should not be the case that the group permits are there and the staff permits are not there, or the staff permits are there but the group permits are not there. You can just imagine what kind of a situation that would be. Yeah. Delays due to weather. So very obvious. I think most of us, we operate trips in Himalayas. So I always try to keep 1 day buffer for my trips to take take into account the contingencies of roadblocks, delays because of the roadblocks, or delays because of sheer weather issues, or even a day because of the delay because of the getting the permit or a visa here and there. And I always recommend very strongly people to book their flights as refundable flights or flexi flights. Because if you get onto the non-refundable flights, uh, you tend to lose money. Uh, uh, and delays are expected on this kind of a trip. Yeah. So it is very, very strongly advised that people should book flexi fares or refundable fares. Yeah. Similarly, full moon dates are always has a heavy rush out there, and the entire system falls under the pressure. I'm sure many people might have been aware about the in the social media. There is a lot of going viral around, and if you try to look at the dates are closer to the full moon, and in full moon, especially this year, the it was a horse year, which is auspicious for the Chinese, auspicious for the Tibetans. And of course, there's a kind of pent demand for Kailash Yatra because the Kailash had been closed for last 4 or 5 years. For Indians, it just opened last year. So there was a tremendous rush, putting a lot of pressure on the entire system. And people may not get ponies, people may not get porters, accommodation can be had to be compromised in so many things. Yeah. So the best thing is to avoid these kind of festive dates and full moon dates. Festive dates, I said, because there is a major festival that happens in Tibet called Sagadawa Festival, which was around the same full moon, which was by the end of May. Yeah. So it's the best thing is to avoid that kind of a scenario. Pony and porter. Pony and porter, I try and be as kind of clear to your guest or the clients, saying that yes, ponies and porters are available, but the ponies and porters are beyond your control. It's a kind of, you have to make a payment to the guide. The guide will book your porters and ponies, and they're randomly allocated to everyone. There's no control that one can exercise on them. Yeah. And the other biggest challenge is the language. Your client can't talk to the porter in normal Hindi or English. They don't understand. The pony guy will not understand. So there are issues like this, but so it is better to kind of inform your guest well in advance about the limitations that you can exercise as far as pony and porter are concerned. Yeah. Larger group size. Now, what happens is this is larger group size is a major problem. I'm sure that many people are aware of similar issues being dealt on our social media and on WhatsApp currently. Here the challenges are multifold when the group sizes are really large. Yeah. When you have group size of say 80 or 100 or 120, 150 people, just imagine you can't give personal attention. And here it is all the more important to have that personal attention because the guests coming here are not typically the trekkers or the outdoor people. Yeah, they are all kind of coming here for religious reasons or spiritual reasons. Usually the age group will be 50 plus, no youngsters as such, and you need to give a lot of attention to them because of the altitudes, and in a way you need to kind of take care. So the larger the group size, it becomes very difficult to pay a personal attention to each and every one. And In things going kind of wrong here and there, then you have a larger or more number of people on your hand to handle. So I would say that you should not be doing very large group sizes typically. However, all said, the trip doesn't become viable till the time you take the group size to 21 people. Only if you have 21 people, you will get a reasonable price from Tibet and Nepal side to operate this trip. So typically, I aim at going for the number which is around 30 to 40 with two tour leaders from my side. Yeah, that's how I try to operate this trip. Yeah, because then only you can pay attention. Then you can do things to a large extent rightly. Yeah. As far as guides are concerned, it is very important because there are multiple people involved here. There is a Nepal team involved. There is a Tibet part involved. There is you would be sending a guide from your team, so your guide is also very important, and he is involved. So it is very critical and important to keep in mind that the roles are very clearly defined between the team that is operating. So basically, the Nepal guide takes care of food, logistics, camping. No, camping is not there anymore, but movement of people to Dera folk and then to Zudul folk. They also help you out during the parikrama days. They do all the hard work of actually getting your bags to the room, getting them down from the rooms, loading the bags into the bus, and things like that. But this exercise is very difficult for the clients to do because you're at serious altitudes. Yeah. And the Tibetan guide primarily looks after kind of the formalities that are involved at the check post, going to the police, reporting to the police of their arrival of the group. And he takes more of a licensing work that is needed. And the guide that you would have from your team, or you should have, I would say, would definitely do the job of actually keeping the clients informed on what is happening on an everyday basis and probably giving briefing for every next day from time to time and paying attention to the clients' needs, requirements, and necessities. Yeah. He can do that role. And what my experience has been that the tour leader from your team or from my team is usually involved right from the beginning with the client. So they have established some kind of a comfort zone, and that makes things much easier, much simplified in so many ways. Yeah. Guest expectation. Now here, I would say that it is very, very important as far as this trip is concerned. You need to be very, very clear with the guest as far as their preparation is concerned. You need to be very transparently telling them that there are chances where things get delayed. There are chances where the permits and visas can be delayed. You need to be very clear about the hardship that one has to go through when they're, especially on the parikrama days, because that's where you're going to go in the dormitories. There are no toilets. You're going to walk. You're going to be deal with the higher altitude and weather. Yeah. Surprises and uncertainties, as I said, which is a part causing delays and other things. Expenses that one should kind of expect on this trip, additional expected apart from the tour cost. Insurance is a must, though I'm not put it as a clause here. Insurance is a must. There's no two ways about it. But make it very clear, the pony will cost you so much, the hotel will cost you so much, the tipping expected is so much. And trust me, I tell my people very clearly that you need to tip, because our staff, Nepal staff, they really work hard. They're 24/7 on their toes to make this trip happen. Yeah. And it's really, we are happy to reward them. Let me put it the other way around. Yeah. So it is very important to kind of make the expense part very clear, and also give them kind of a note on preparation, how they can gear up and physically prepare themselves. So the picture is very clear in terms of what one should expect, and there is no element that comes as which was not informed to them. Yeah. So that is the reason it is very, very critical. Yeah. Communication, I've already kind of spoken about what communication needs to be clear as far as the guest expectation is concerned. But especially in the Nepal, Tibet, and clients and you, because of the language barriers, it becomes very clear. It is very important that, especially in the time of crisis, it is important that the Tibetan guide has exactly understood what you want to say. The Nepal team has exactly understood what you have to say, and there are no gaps, because it can just roll down into something else. Yeah. So it is better that the communication is very clear between the team that is organizing these things. So between your Nepali guide, Nepali cook, I would say, Tibetan guide, and our own guides. So the communication has to be absolutely clear. Yeah. As far as altitude is concerned, I'm sure I'm talking to most of the audience which is into adventure zone, who deal with altitude. So I'm not really, I would not like to elaborate much more on this. But definitely we need to take 100% precautions, because you're dealing with altitudes above 4,500 meters almost all the time when you go to Saga, or when you go to Purang, or when you're at Manasarovar. And there onwards, till the time you come down, you're above 4,500 meters almost. Yeah. And all the precautions that one needs to take. So this is a quick download. I've been given time only of 1 hour. I can keep talking about this subject a lot, but I will prefer to kind of go for a Q&A in a bit. But before that, I would like to make a humble submission on two accounts. One thing is, I'm aware that there are some people who have been operating trips and having experience far more than me in our group, like Dr. Milind Chitare, who happens to be also a very dear friend of ours. Then, of course, Rudra Ji, whom I recently met when I was in Delhi, Mr. Rajendra Rawat, his name, Mr. Manoj Mata, and Vishal Ji. So these are the other members that I'm aware of. There might be some more members which probably I'm not aware of. So in case if anybody has any questions, I'm sure they're also more and competent to answer the questions, and I would stand corrected if anything that I've kind of has not clarified properly. I would stand corrected with these people, because they have been also operating for last many, many years, have been handling a lot of groups. So they carry also a much larger experience with them. Yeah. And the last thing, though, while saying thank you to everyone, the last thing I would like to kind of make a special mention here, because this is something that I feel that there's a missing link. What we need to definitely understand is people coming on this particular trip, they are not coming on this trip as an adventure trip. Adventure happens on this trip. People are coming for this trip because of their religious feelings, sentiments, for spiritual reasons, and for it's a lifetime trip that they have kind of aspired to do in their lifetime. Yeah, and that's the reason people actually come for Kailash Yatra, Manasura and Kailash Yatra. So it is very, very important for us as organizers to keep this in mind, that they do not belong to outdoors and adventure and all that. And they have come for the particular reason with a lot of sentiments and feelings. And we need to be a little more sensitive to that. And we need to kind of acknowledge those things, that they have come for that purpose. It's not a kind of a normal trip or a normal trek or a normal adventure that they have come for. They have come for a very, very specific reason. So we should respect those feelings, respect their reason of coming here, and we should kind of attend to them in that fashion. That's the last thing I would say. And thank you, Sonam, and ATOI to giving me this opportunity. And this is purely knowledge sharing. There is nothing that I'm trying to sell as a product here. But I will prefer, if anybody has any questions, I would be more than happy to address the questions. Yeah. Yes, Sonam.
Hi, sir. So we already have, say, about 6 questions in the chat.
So you can go ahead with that. Should I stop sharing the screen so that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can?
So please go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
So, sir, we have questions here. Should I just read it out, or would you like to just go through the chat box and probably
No,
answer?
you read it out. That is better.
All right, sir. The first question is from sales team TWP, and they're asking, when you say no washrooms in Derapuk and Dolmala, you mean there are no shared washrooms as well? That's the first question.
No washrooms are at two places, that is Derafuk and Jutulfuk, which is on the way when you do the parikrama. Okay, the 2 nights that one has to stay on the parikrama. And at these both the places, the accommodation is dormitory style, and washrooms are not there. One has to go out. And even if there are so-called washrooms are there, I'm sure nobody will go there. They're extremely pathetic and dirty. Yeah. That's the scenario, and that's a fact.
All right. So, sir, the second question is from Mr. Prabhat Verma. What is the maximum group size you would recommend, keeping limited accommodation and lack of infrastructure in mind?
Currently, if I have to address all, because I've been running the trips in 2003, and then the challenges were much more, because we used to do camping all throughout. The roads were dirt roads, off-road, absolutely off-roads, and things were very, very challenging then. Now, almost everywhere, the accommodation is fairly good. You have twin share accommodation also, you have better accommodation also. So till Darchin, I think accommodation is not as much as an issue. Exceptional cases like what happened recently during Sagadava festival is just one-off thing. But otherwise, till Darchin, you can be fairly assured about the accommodation. The challenge is at Derafuk and Zutulfuk. Yeah, these two places. There you need to do a ground check before you make a move, because there is no system, as far as my knowledge goes, that operates. It's your Tibetan guide who will confirm the number of beds in these both the places once you are in Manasarora or Darchin, and that's how it works. Because of the delays caused and everything, there's no confirmation per se, because many groups get delayed by a day, two here and there. Many people opt not to go and stay back at Darchin because of the health condition and things like that. So it is done then and there. And when the Tibetan, so you need to get an assurance from the Tibetan guide saying that he has blocked and he has confirmed, and we definitely have an accommodation up there. But usually, in last six like 15 trips that I have done, we never had any issue with the accommodation per se. Yeah, this was only one of case. And as far as the limiting the group size, as I said, 21 you will have to do it due to the price point that is there. And to make it little better, because the effort spent is the same, and if you can put up your own tour leader and things like that, then I would say any group size between 30 to 40 people is a decent size, a good kind of operation.
So another question from Mr. Verma again. Is there any way to avoid using ponies? Can one carry his own backpack? And the last question from him is the best time to do this trip.
One can avoid the pony, you said, right?
Yes, yes.
So pony can be avoided if you're ready to walk. But if somebody can't walk, definitely, then there's no option for him. Because in case of emergency from Derafuk and Jutulpur, these both points, one can hire an ambulance to get down back to Darchen. Yeah. But it is only for coming down. It is not for going up. So you can't take a ride up. You can only take a ride back in case of emergency. The only two options are there: either you walk or you hire a pony and get onto the pony. And what was the another question to this,
So
Sono?
what is the best time to do this trip?
See, in my opinion, the best time has been any time by June, July. I would say June, typically like Ladakh. It's a season exactly like Ladakh: June, July, August, September. Post September, it will definitely start getting colder. And if you receive any early snowfall and things like that, there is a chance that Dolmala might get closed because of the heavy snowfall. But typically, time is like mid June to mid September is an absolutely safe zone to go.
So another question from Mr. Ajit Chauhan is, what are the things to carry for this tour? Like some specific things, and what kind of facilities will be provided by the authorities during this tour?
See, as I said, till Darchen nowadays, you have a proper hotel that you can use with all the facilities that you get. Yeah. What you need to get prepared is for the 3 days of parikrama. So typically, any trekking kit list that one would have, like trekking shoes, poles, or head torch, warm clothing, jackets, wind jacket, waterproof jacket. So that's a very standard kit list which one can run through. Yeah. But no other thing that comes to my mind as of now in terms of anything as a special requirement.
And sir, the fourth question is from Sunny India Easy Trip. He has two questions. What are the chances we have to get permit cancelled? And mostly, what is the reason behind it? That's the first question he has.
Usually, in my experience, permits are not cancelled. There might be a delay in getting the permit. Permits are never kind of cancelled. There may be delay in getting your permit. Yeah, depending on when you are organizing, and it is entirely to the kind of authorities in China. Yeah, so that is something beyond anybody's control. Yeah.
He says Lhasa route was not open. I've heard it is open now, and how many days tour will be? That's the question from Sunny.
If the way Lhasa trip, that the way we do the trip, we do it for 14 days, where we stay in Kathmandu for 2 days, then we fly to Lhasa, be in Lhasa for 2 days, then we go to Shigatse, Saga, Manasarovar, Darchen, Parikrama 2 days, then back to Saga, and from Saga we will come back to via Kerum, we will come down to Kathmandu. And then we have one buffer day in Kathmandu at the end of the trip, making it a 14-day trip. Yeah.
So the next question is from Mr. Milap Neheria. Are there two different routes to do the parikrama? Inner Kora and Outer Kora is what I've heard of. Is that correct?
So the kind of description and everything that I talked about is for the outer Kora over the Dolmala Pass. Okay. There is another pass which is called as Khandu Saglam Pass, which you can come across during the inner Kora. And there is another Kora which is done as called as a Nandi Kora, where you don't really do a kind of the parikrama of Mount Kailash. It is a Kora of the Nandi mountain, which is in front of Mount Kailash. But this inner and Nandi, both these things are currently closed. They are not open as of now.
And the next question is from Ms. Sujata Srinivasan. Please let the members know about the least medical facilities available and why physical fitness is the most important thing here in this yatra.
I did not get your first question.
Please let the members know about the least medical facilities available is what she has written.
Okay. See, as far as the medical facilities are concerned, in Lhasa, there is a proper hospital. In Saga, you have a proper hospital. In Darchin, I know there is a hospital, but I have never been there, so I have not seen it. But in Darchin also there is a medical facilities, and most of the people suffering from on this particular trip need to be taking precautions for altitude. So currently, in the last trip that I did last year, the oxygen facility is available almost everywhere, also in most of the hotels. The buses have oxygen cylinder, the car has oxygen cylinder, the hotels have oxygen facility available. So, in terms of any altitude reason anyone is feeling unwell or getting into critical scenario, then the oxygen is the first thing to be given. The facilities are definitely not there at Derafuk and Jutulfuk during the parikrama days. There are no facilities, but you have a choice of calling for an ambulance and going down, which may take a couple of hours at times for the ambulance to come and take you down. In the meantime, you can kind of put the person on oxygen. You can use the oxygen cylinder and take whatever precaution measures or kind of recovery measures that need to be taken in those two areas. Yeah. And of course, as far as the fitness is concerned, people planning to do the parikrama for walking definitely need to be fit to do a trek at the altitude of 5,650 meters. People who are taking the pony also have to be fit. They can't be completely unfit because you're dealing with those altitudes at that height, and you're necessarily going to walk from Dolmala Pass down to the other side. And the fitness is all very subjective matter in terms of it depends on whom I'm talking to and what preparedness he needs to do. But definitely fitness is important. More than the fitness, I would say the prior medical checkup is important. Because in our experience, what we have seen many times is like people are not aware of their own conditions, which can create a major hassle on the trip. Yeah. So taking a medical examination before you board on the trip is very, very important, very, very critical. And as far as medical conditions are concerned, only a doctor would be able to tell them whether he's fit to travel or not. We usually ask for a medical certificate from their doctors saying that he's fit to travel. Yeah. Yeah, Sonu.
There are two questions from Tushar, Mr. Tushar. He says split visa charges in case in IN point in Lhasa and out from Kerung. Does it apply visa charges in this case?
Visa is anyway applicable. We are taking a group visa, and the group visa will, the permit will actually specify, maybe the group visa will also specify your point of entry and point of exit. So there is no two visas or split payment or anything of that sort is done. Yeah. When you apply for the group visa, and I purposely have not gone into further details not to confuse, I've kept it limited to group visa. The group visa will mention your point of entry and point of exit. And so the permit will mention that.
So another question from Mr. Tushar is in case of an emergency, till what point an ambulance can reach and in which point there's no access for a 4x4 ambulance?
As I said, on the parikrama day, because everywhere else it's completely good roads, absolutely great roads on China side. You have blacktop roads throughout till Darchin. Once you leave Darchin, only when you are on the parikrama, the ambulance can definitely reach till Derafuk. And on this side, when you're doing clockwise, Derafuk. And on the other side, if you're on the other side after coming down the pass, if somebody has any emergency that comes up, the ambulance can definitely come to Zutulfuk, the guest house where it is, and drive you back to Darchin. However, the vehicles can come further up also, but I don't know whether the ambulance are allowed to come further up.
And from Mr. Aditya, how is the medical facility over there?
Well, I think I just explained that in Derafuk and Zutulfuk there is no medical facility as such. You need to call for the ambulance and get the person down to Darchin. In Darchin, you will definitely get medical facilities. And as you come further down towards Saga also, then you can hit hospitals and everything is there. Yeah.
From Mr. Rajendra Rawat, how about permit restrictions and delay in permit and visa so often?
Rajendra ji, namaste to you. This delays are happening, and as I said, we can be only transparent with the client, saying that this is the case that may happen. And as far as getting the permits and getting the visas and getting the verification code is concerned, it is beyond the control of any operator or anybody out here. It is all coming from the authorities, officials, and embassies from China. Yeah, so there's no control measure that has been exercised, and nobody gets to know exactly why it is happening also, to be very honest. So there is a change in policy or change in kind of notification. Without any notification, there can be a change in the rules. Yeah. So that's how it works. And the only thing that we can do is we can be very transparent and clear with our guests, saying that this is what it is. There's nothing that any of the operators can do anything about it. Yeah.
So the question is from Mr. Chandra Shankar. While booking the tour, will we be given SOP in written, and will Jain food be available?
Jain food can be definitely made available, because if you are having a Nepal kitchen table, you can have that provision being done. However, it is much convenient if it is 100% Jain group, so you don't have to kind of repeat every time. And alternatively, what I tell when I get Jain kind of clients or guests with me, I tell them that they will definitely do provide them with the Jain food, but they need to be a little patient. Because when we are organizing food at certain restaurants and things like that, they need to understand what we are giving, the instructions. They need to be very clear about it. And they may take a little while because we're getting prepared separately. So they need to be a little patient on that. Yeah. So that's what my policy has been. But if you have a group, it is definitely possible.
The next question is from Mr. Ajit Athawale. How is the food managed during the parikrama, and what is available, and what do you recommend to carry?
Parikrama, as I said, the kitchen staff and the Nepali staff, they move with us. So they definitely feed us with a proper meal. However, since it's like a moving kitchen and moving things with less time on hand, we can't really expect too many kind of a spread as such. But yes, they give us sumptuous, good vegetarian food on both the occasions. And the Nepali team does the job on both the sides, in Derafuk also and Zutulfuk also. And on the day of Parikrama, they will kind of pack the food and give it to you.
Another question from Mr. Rajendra Rawat. Why there is no official body to guide and regulate Kailash Mansarovar Yatra so far? Some companies charge hefty money and then they disappear.
Rajendra, regulatory measures in our part of the world is anyway we are all dealing with, and it's been a challenge for all of us. Yeah, if you go through even leave apart Kailash, even if you look at what is happening in Indian Himalayas and things like that, I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done for regulatory mechanism. It is definitely not there as of now. And however, as you are aware, and we are all aware, that prime role is played by the Nepal operations out there. And you work with the right people, you work with the right guys, and usually things will work for you, all of us. Uh, Typically, if you look at we having a control, it is a kind of an international issue. So we directly do not exercise any jurisdiction on them, is how I would put it up. Yeah. And as far as the case of cheating or somebody getting duped is concerned, I think we need to be always trying to double check on whom we are dealing with and whom we are kind of working with. That's the only way I would put it up, because that can happen anywhere. Yes or no?
So another question from Mr. Sai Chandra Shekhar. We would like to understand the available subsidy schemes and incentive policies offered by the Government of India and various state governments for tourism, hospitality, MICE, travel, and related sectors, is what he has written.
So if it is limiting to Kailash sector, I absolutely have no clue on this matter. Whether the subsidy is available when you do it privately through a private operator and via Nepal. And I'm definitely not aware if there is any subsidy given when people do it with the Indian government, which is through a diplomatic channel altogether. So I have no understanding on that, or I have no information on that. And if there are any state governments giving any subsidies, I'm not aware. I have not heard anybody claiming any certificate from me, ask for the purpose of getting the subsidy. Yeah.
Another question from Mr. Aditya. What are the things that we need to cover while taking an insurance for this yatra?
Primarily, we need to kind of be very clear that we are going to travel at altitude above 4,500 meters. We are going to cross Dolmala Pass, which is going to be 5,600 meters, 5,650 meters to be more precise. So we need to ensure that trekking part of the parikrama, travel on high altitude, is covered in your insurance policy. So that these two factors are good enough, apart from everything else that is usually covered in the international travel insurance.
And from Mr. Akash Matta, Mr. Vire, please do brief members about Lhasa Ali Lhasa, Lhasa Purang Lhasa, and Lhasa in Lhasa route via Shivatse.
Okay. I purposely just try to avoid it a bit because it gets otherwise too confusing. Because if for the new person to get this whole orientation is itself is a challenge. But quickly, I will kind of tell people nowadays have a choice of flying to Lhasa from Kathmandu. After you fly to Lhasa, from Lhasa, you can spend 3 days in Lhasa to acclimatize. And after that, you can fly from Lhasa straight to either Purang or Ali Airport, which are closer to Darchin and Manasarovar. Purang is more closer, and Ali Airport is little further off. But one can take a direct flight to avoid all the road journey in between. And from there, you can stay again. Usually, I would recommend for people to stay there for 3 more days, 2 nights in Manasaro, 1 night in Darchin, just to ensure that they are acclimatized at that 4,700 meters before they set out for Parikrama. But many people would probably stay for 2 nights, then go for Parikrama, and then on return again, they can fly back to Kathmandu, Lhasa, and from Lhasa, they can come back to Kathmandu. So this is a quick brief. I did not say this because very few people want to do that. It becomes very expensive also. And that's the reason I didn't include. But yes, that is also a possibility. And Purang Airport has been recently started. It has only one flight a day, whereas Ali has 2, 3 flights. So we have to be little uh, kind of cautious on the Purang flight, because recently I heard one of my friend having a group out of Purang, the flight got cancelled and he had to reschedule and do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Milind sir, I see the questions are not stopping, it's pouring in. And
We are okay to extend it by 5 minutes,
yeah,
I guess.
so I think we can extend till 12:10, and in case, if all the questions are not addressed, maybe they can write to us and we can, route it to you and we can have that answers. But I think we'll have to close the webinar by 12:10.
No problem. We will do that. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm actually out of one meeting. I have to rush back to that other meeting.
All right. So, sir, let's continue. We have again Mr. Aditya. If someone comes out between the yatra due to medical emergency, what is the procedure for that, and what are the charges for that?
Okay, if somebody has to be kind of brought back to lower altitudes or exit and get into back to Nepal by the road route or otherwise, one is like the ambulance, as I said, initial medication till the time he recovers and he can travel down, or you can put up oxygen in the car and send him down. Typically, the expense that I would suggest budget or plan for is anywhere close to 5,000 to 7,000 yuan. So anywhere around, and this is on a very, it depends on the situation to situation, this will differ. So I would say you budget for around $1,000, which would be needed to get this whole thing done. Because you will come back to the border, you will exit the border, and when you exit the border, there's a cancellation of the permit and visa that is done for that particular person, and then one can come back. So the budgeted expenses for one particular person going back, I would budget anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 as a total expense to be taken into account. But as I said, it will depend from case to case. It will depend on the criticality of the person and a lot of things. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, community kitchen is compulsory in China, or can we have a personal kitchen?
Not at least this time.
Okay. What will be the basic price for all three route you have told us, Indian and NRI?
You can inquire because you can deal with many operators. I think they will have different pricing, but prices can vary a lot depending upon the route and the group size and the operator. And these are not really comparable. So if you look at the Lhasa route and the Lhasa, especially the Lhasa, Ali Lhasa flights that I told you, that budget can easily shoot up to 7-8 lakhs because of the flights involved in that. Yeah, $2,000 flights only will be involved. Yeah. So there's no comparison. So it is better that once you zero on something that you don't want to execute, then you can source out for the costing. And as I said, the cost can definitely vary depending on the lot of factors. The hotels that you use in Kathmandu and route and otherwise. Yeah.
It's not only permit or visa delay, but this time border was closed without any reason mentioned, twice as far as my knowledge goes. Though we had both permit and visa in hand for our groups. So Yatra organizers should be aware of such happenings and should be able to manage the group. Is suggestion maybe from Ms. Sujata Srinath.
Yeah. So here, what I would like to say is something like this: in terms of this has been the case even in the earlier years. It is not only this time it has happened. It has happened in a couple of years back also. Yeah. And only there's no way for us to kind of really understand what is the exact reason behind the whole thing. And if I have to kind of talk in terms of exact legality and the language, what I know this because I've seen a couple of documents that way. Any kind of visa, valid visa, doesn't kind of does not mean that you have a right of entry. The immigration can stop you for whatever reason they feel right, and they can stop your entry. So this is how everywhere in the world, this is how it is accepted. It's not only for this particular yatra. However, for this yatra, everything gets very chaotic. Everyone is stranded because you're not dealing with one person or two person. You are dealing with a group, and the group is on your hand, and the operator has to face the challenges and the music, I would say, which is there, and there's nothing to deny about it. But there is nothing that, at least I have come across in last 20 and odd years that I've been kind of functioning in this sector. that where I have got to know why it has been denied, or why I have been stopped, or why it is kind of my permit has not come. So there is no intimation or notification that is given in advance. But as I said, it is the prerogative of the immigration and their policies, where there is definitely no control or measure one can exercise from our end. What is important is the client should be aware of these facts. That's the only thing I would say we can communicate. The client has to be aware of these facts. कि ऐसा भी होता है. So that's the only thing. Yeah.
From Mr. Rajendra Rawat, he says, my point is not why, it's how it can be streamlined if we have an organization here in India like ATOAI in Nepal. So far, CPISC or FEC only allow permit via Nepal operator. Why cannot we Indian operators work directly with FEC in the absence of any regulatory framework?
See, one thing is it is not only FEC or IPSC, the two agencies that are allowed to deal with permits for Indian national. There is a foreign affairs department also. There is a ministry involved from both the sides. There are diplomatic channels. So it is not as simplified and easy. As I said, the Tibet borders are only open for Nepal and Tibet for tourism purpose. Okay, that is not the case as far as other countries or India is concerned. Yeah. So if at all these things have to be happen, or this can happen, they need to happen at a ministerial level where I think we do not have a reach to do those things. Because to talk about it, it will be so easy if our borders are opened for doing the same thing. If you drive out from Pangong, you will reach within a day to Mansarovar. Now the road on Pangong side is very open. If you look at the map, you'll just kind of drive out in a day's time straight to Mansarovar. Yeah. But these matters are not within our reach. It is to be dealt at the ministerial levels, and obviously we do not have any domain to even comment on that. Yeah.
So, sir, there's an information shared by Dr. Manoj Matta. He says subsidies are available by a few state governments, even for the tours conducted by private tour operators like us. So basically an information, I guess, too.
Fantastic, fantastic. So Mataji, you can actually share it on the group. It will be of help. If we have some clients coming, we can encourage them to kind of avail that subsidy from their state governments or so.
Another information has come from Dr. Matta again. He says Tibet is highly unpredictable region. This year, Yatra was stopped on 9, 10 June or 10 and 11 June by authorities to control excessive tourist rush in Kailash region. Unfortunately, they don't inform beforehand, like currently China Embassy is holding on all the visas for over 10 days.
Exactly. So as I said, these are the things which are beyond our control. We can only communicate to kind of our clients or guests saying that at times these things do happen and we need to deal with patience. And that's the only thing that we can do. And they would have their right reasons to kind of stop the mad rush that might be there. The problem is they don't intimate in advance, but that's how it is. That's the way it works. Yeah.
I think so. We are done with questions. Just few informations shared by few members who actually are aware of few things there. So I don't think there are any more questions. And in case there are any, they can write to us, and then we can send it across to you and then take it on, sir.
Perfect, Sonam. And thank you very much to all of you. And again, namaste and Om Namah Shivaya. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You.
Thanks. Bye.